Hello there, BOHS. I'm here today with Principal Steve Perrin, and we're going to be talking about some changes in the electronics policy and what that means for you. Hello, Mr. Perrin.
Hi, Ethan. I guess I want to go back first and thank you for the work you did on WCAX a couple of weeks ago. That really helped provide some more impetus for this trial run that we want to try with our electronics policy. As you know, we've talked about electronics for a long time at BUHS, and as time has gone on, we've used more and more electronic devices in the classroom as tools. We want to recognize that there are some uses for electronics that are legitimate and educational. We also want to recognize that electronic devices are here to stay and they're not going to go away anytime soon. With that in mind, I've been working with student council, and we've also polled our faculty, and the faculty has agreed and student council has agreed that we should have a trial period for the remainder of this school year to see if we can try to relax our rules about electronics and see if it creates a disruption to the school day, or hopefully if it enhances education here at BUHS.
Okay, sounds good. Can we just go through the policy and see what each point is and how it affects the student body?
Sure. In classrooms and libraries, we're still going to defer to the teacher and the professionals in those areas. We're going to have those policies be set by the teacher. Some teachers have asked if they may collect cell phones at the beginning of a class period or have students place them on their desks so they're not a distraction. I would support that. In the cafeteria, we are going to say that electronic devices can be used, any electronic device. If it has sound, though, we're going to ask that that sound be muted or headphones used so it's not a distraction to people around you in the cafeteria. In the hallways, this is probably the biggest change that we'll notice. We are going to allow cell phones to be used during block period passing times. We are not going to allow them to be used during class time or during period length passing time.
Is there a reason for not having them for period length passing times?
There is, and the main reason is I don't want to put a teacher or a student in a difficult position of having to determine if it's a legitimate time to use a cell phone, because not all classes end at the same time, and so a student could be out violating a cell phone policy if they're in a block class and they happen to be in the hallway during a period passing time. So we thought we'd keep it simple for everybody and just have cell phones allowed to be used in the hallways during block length passing times.
And what about music players? Are they allowed in the hallways?
You know, I'm a big fan of music. I play a mean iPod, but we're not going to allow music players to be used because of the headphone. And what I worry about all the time is I worry about somebody not hearing something very important, maybe there being some danger in the hallway, and a person not hearing it. So the question came up with student council and also with some staff members, well, what about one earbud or one headphone at a time? Again, what I worry is that's going to set up an adversarial relationship where somebody would have two in, they'd come around a corner, see somebody, they'd pull one out. And frankly, I want this policy to work, and so I want to keep it simple for everybody so it can work well.
Okay. So just in summing up, electronic devices are allowed in classrooms in the library with teacher discretion.
Yes.
They are both allowed in the cafeteria so long as they are muted or have headphones attached.
Yes.
Cell phones are allowed only in block passing times, not period length passing times. And music players are not allowed during any passing times. Is that correct?
That's all correct.
Okay. Will there be a change in infraction or how, in consequences for infraction, or how punishment is meted out?
Well, I hope we're not meting out any punishment. What we're hoping to do is to use some of the lessons we've learned from our restorative justice and our peer mediation panel, and student council has graciously agreed to sit in on those meetings. So for a first infraction, the person is not going to just meet with an administrator. They're also going to meet with a student council representative to talk about what happened, why we changed the policy, and the importance of being responsible and following our core values of responsibility. We want the use to be positive. We want it to be respectful. Another note that I should say is, as you know, sometimes people get on Facebook and they bully and cyber harass. If a student is implicated in some electronic device misbehavior, as in cyberbullying or posting comments on Facebook about somebody else, we will suspend their cell phone rights at school as well, because we simply can't have that happening.
Is this if they post a comment from school, from their cell phone from school, or just at all?
Within school hours,
okay.
yes.
What would the student council representative's role in the meeting be?
Really to review how hard student council has worked to get this policy change and to enlist the students' assistance in following the new policy so that we can keep this new policy. This is going to be a trial till the end of the year. At that time, I'm going to sit down with student council, and I'm also going to sit down with the faculty, and we're going to assess what happened. You know, did this work out really well? Did it create more problems for us? I'd really like to keep the policy in place. I know all the other administrators and the majority of the teachers would also like this new policy to succeed. We really need help from students to do that, and that's why I want to get student council involved, because they are student leadership in the school.
And will cell phones still be taken away for repeated infractions?
For repeated infractions, we're going to involve the parent. So a cell phone, for a repeated infraction, as we do now, the cell phone will be taken. The parent will need to come and pick up the cell phone. And then if we need to, we'll have it turned into the house office for a certain amount of time every day. Again, I'm hoping we don't go there.
Okay. And recently, the school has adopted some 4 core values, and those will be reflected on a student's report card. And will an infraction of the cell phone, the electronics policy, show up on the report card under one of the core values?
I guess I'm thinking if I'm a teacher and I'm assessing a student's civic and social behavior, and I've had to work with that student repeatedly on cell phone behavior, that's going to be an issue of respect for the teacher and respect for the class, and I would assume that would show up when the teacher assesses a civic and learning expectation next year.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for inviting me, Ethan. I appreciate it.
Tonight we start a series called High School Homework. Channel 3 visited 5 high school media classes and asked each one to produce a story about the big news in their school community. We begin with Brattleboro Union High School. Students looked into the policy of when cell phones can and cannot be used in class. They're here to talk with us. But first, let's watch their story.
Students at Brattleboro Union High School have experienced many changes here at school over the past year, including new principals, new teachers, and a new start time to the school day. One change that is important to students and faculty is the change of the electronic devices policy. Currently, the policy states, cell phones or other electronic communication devices must be turned off and kept in a pocket or backpack from 8:45 a.m. to 3:20 p.m. Portable stereo devices of all types may be used by students in the cafeteria, library, and study hall with the teacher's permission. Many students feel it is a change that is necessary because it is outdated.
We're in a time where, cell phones and pretty much any electronic is used in our daily routine. We have, for smartphones, we have our calendars, our emails, internet, a phone. There's such a variety of things on just one device, and they can be beneficial to learning.
Some faculty members, however, have reservations about the change in the policy which would allow students to use their cell phones between classes.
I think texting and phoning in the hallways would be counter to 3 of our core values.
However, some teachers really embrace the idea of technology in the classrooms. One teacher at BUHS uses iPod Touches to complete research and communicate with others locally and internationally.
It doesn't mean that you have to eliminate reading or mathematics or anything else, but you can enhance those things. Kids are using technology. The world is using technology. We need to be using technology. Almost all assignments that students do today with me are electronically sent.
Some students feel that technology is important to their education.
You have an iPhone or an Android phone, you have internet access, or you have like an easy access, like a calculator on your phone, or a website you can just go to. You should be able to do that during class.
What I'd like to see us move towards is a policy that acknowledges that electronic devices are here to stay, and one that focuses on the behavior rather than the device. For example, if I had a student who was passing a note in a classroom, I would never take the pen and pencil from the student. That would be ridiculous. So why, if a student is using an electronic device to pass a note or text message, why am I all of a sudden worried about the device?
Some teachers and students would like to change the policy, but not everyone can agree on one solution.
I feel strongly that in this age of technology that our role should be education in technology and how to use it correctly.
Nowadays, the big thing is smartphones, and they all have many functions, and some of them would be very useful. But still, I can see some negatives to telling kids you can go ahead and make cell phone calls in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I kind of think I can't think of a reason why you would need something in school.
Technology is changing rapidly, and more is being developed every day. There is no solution at BUHS yet, but students, faculty, and administration are working to create a policy that will be accepted by all.
And I'm joined now by the students who worked on that project. I want to thank you all for being here. First, I'm going to interview, talked with Ethan Reichsman, also joined by Jack Laporte, and I should say in the back, we also have other students who worked on this. We have Jesse Gurney, Shelley Sawyers, and Fabia Fishadick. Thank you all for being here. First of all, I want to start, I hear there's an update to the policy. Who wants to give me the update?
I can. Well, the administration has put forward the policy to the faculty in a faculty meeting, and they generally supported it, so we're going to do a trial run of the policy at the end of the year and see how it works out.
Well, what did you learn working on this project, Jesse?
It was.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I was like, wow, they're looking at me.
No, it's.
I learned to get names right.
Yeah, it was a good experience. It's definitely not so much a controversial issue as it is sort of something that needs to be worked out because technology is something that is up and coming, and it can be applied to a lot of different things, including school. A lot of kids, because they use technology in their everyday lives, they can it's better for them to learn, so because they're used to using those sort of methods.
Well, just curious, you all worked on this project. We were all very impressed by your work. Are any of you interested in journalism at all? Show of hands. You are? Okay. Did this sort of fuel your interest in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this the first time you guys ever put together a story like this, Ethan?
Well, we do some stories. We have a broadcast, a daily broadcast in our school. That's what our class does. But we've never done anything this in-depth with this many interviews and this kind of high level of technology.
Getting into it. Well, we want to thank you all for making the trip up, and we appreciate you being part of high school homework. And tomorrow we're going to hear from students at Rutland High School. Thank you all.
Thank you.
After he's done hitting it 8 times, you guys switch to doing that. A team.
彼が破壊やったらこっちのリズムが